Hello, Harmonica friends. How are you? I'm Vitor Lopes, and I want to welcome all of you to our second live of the Choro Harmonica week. Thank you so much for watching me. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very glad with my partnership with Sopro de Arte that allows that meeting between me and you. And before we move on, I want to be sure if our connections are just working well. We are broadcasting live from YouTube channel at Sopro de Arte's channel on YouTube, and here on Instagram, straight from the Sopro de Arte Brasil Instagram channel. Okay, so tell me if everything's just going fine. Alerts. João, bom dia, João. Ó, o Ricardo aí, bom dia. O Thiago, good morning to everybody. Good morning, guys. Bom dia, pessoal. Well, I'm just waiting for you to say if the sound is good. Good morning, Thiago. The sound is okay? The sound is good? The connection is good? You tell me, okay? And we started today with a very important song to the theme that we are going to discuss today, that is how choro music is spread around the world. This first track is called Tico Tico no Fubá. Tico Tico no Fubá. Thank you, Thiago. The sound is good. The connection is good, okay? So, Tico Tico no Fubá is a very important composition by Zequinha de Abreu, né? And it has a very full connection with the theme of our live today. Okay, so before we talk about Tico Tico Fubá, it is good to understand that even before the composition of Tico Tico Fubá, the Brazilian music was already known abroad. No? So, only to give you some examples, and Choro was known abroad, actually, no? So, there are a lots of events that contribute to make Choro well known out of Brazil, abroad Brazil, okay? So, the first event that I want to mention is the trip that Pixinguinha and his group, Oito Batutas, they made to Paris in 1922. So this was a very important trip. They spent 6 months in Paris, playing in the theaters, in cabarets, making concerts, and making connections with musicians from all over the world. For example, it was a very beautiful encounter between musicians from different parts of the world. So, only to give an example, it's in that trip, in that period, that Pixinguinha plays for the first time a saxophone that he met thanks to a jazz band from United States that were playing in the same cabarets, in the same places in Paris. So they stick together in Paris. They spend a lot of time together playing and exchanging information, exchanging music. Who knows the beautiful rodas de choro they made together in Paris in 1922. You can only imagine it, isn't it? But certainly they exchange it between them. So after that trip, Pixinguinha brought a saxophone and put a saxophone on choro music. So that's a really fantastic, isn't it? It's a very symbolically speaking. It's very beautiful to see how the different cultures can mix and create something new. That's the first event. A second one that I would like to mention is the tour that Carmen Miranda made in United States in the end of the 30s, beginning of the 40s. And that was a very important trip, not only because Carmen Miranda, the famous artist, the famous singer, because she created a Brazilian image for other countries, an international Brazilian image. She built that in that tour, using that word hats with pineapples, bananas, and oranges. It's a bit weird, but it was really important to create that icon of the Brazilian music, of the Brazilian culture. And in that tour, she used her own group, which is called Bando da Lua. And in this group, there are wonderful and great masters of choro. Great, we call them chorões. Two big chorões, Laurindo de Almeida on acoustic guitar, and the genius, the amazing Garoto. Garoto was maybe he was the best acoustic guitar player of ever in Brazilian history, maybe. And both of them, they went with Carmen Miranda. And we have noticed that there are rumors that the great artist from America, from United States, attended to their concerts. For example, Art Tatum and Duke Ellington. There are rumors that these two big piano players on jazz, they went crazy when they saw and when they heard Garoto playing. You see, so definitely all of that were really huge influences. Okay, to help to spread choro around the world. But the most important thing was the composition of Tico Tico no Fubá. Tico Tico no Fubá was composed in 1917 in a really little town here in the state of São Paulo, Santa Rita do Passa Quatro. This city remains pretty small. Can you imagine the size of it? In 1970, it was just a really small city here in Brazil, in the southeast of Brazil, and its composer Zequinha de Abreu wasn't well known in Rio de Janeiro, which were the capital of Brazil back then. He used to play here in São Paulo, and Tico Tico Fubá made a huge success in Santa Rita do Passa Quatro. It took a long time until Tico Tico was recorded. It was recorded for the first time in 1931 by an orchestra called Colbas Orchestra here from São Paulo. And this recording was a huge success. People just loved Tico Tico no Fubá. So everything starts from that, you got the trip of Pixinguinha, then you got the tour of Carmen Miranda, then you got the releasing of Tico Tico no Fubá. All that will help to spread choro music. And Tico Tico no Fubá made a huge success around the world. That's the truth. This particular song is the main responsible for the great success of choro. So, only to give you some examples. Along the 40s in United States, Tico Tico no Fubá was part of 7 different soundtracks of Hollywood movies. Amazing, isn't it? Seven soundtracks, including one of my favorite cartoon movies. This one was made by Walt Disney in the 40s, and it shows the first meeting between Donald Duck and Zé Carioca. It's really beautiful, and their encounter happens with Tico Tico no Fubá. So beautiful. We also have Groucho Marx, one of the most important artists in the United States back then. Also, in a movie of Groucho Marx, we have Tico Tico no Fubá. And after that, Tico Tico no Fubá were recorded for the biggest artists in the world. For example, Michel Legrand, Charlie Parker, Django Reinhardt, Ray Conniff, who was really popular back then. Even today, we have a recording, just really recent, of the Philharmonica, the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra. It's so beautiful. They are playing an arrangement, very special arrangement for Chico Chico, with the regency of Daniel Barenboim. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. You know, it's wonderful to see, and including, by the way, I prepared a little material about all the topics of this live, and I will provide it after the live in our Telegram group. And in this material, I put a link to some of these references I made to you. For example, I put a link to the encounter between Donald Duck and Zé Carioca. I put a link to a part of the movie with Carmen Miranda and Groucho Marx, where she sings Tico Tico no Fubá, and also put a link to a full presentation of the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra playing Tico Tico no Fubá. Okay, so it's very beautiful, it's really rich. If you want to access this material, all you got to do is join our Telegram group, okay, by clicking in the link in the description of the video if you are watching in YouTube, or in the link in the bio if you are watching in the Instagram, okay? It's really interesting, huh? And only to give you one more example, because sometimes people could ask, well, but Choro is not that famous at all. Come on, why are saying that Choro is spread around the world? That's You are exaggerating. I am not really exaggerating. Let me tell you just three things. First thing, we have Choro clubs all over the world. We have Choro clubs in all the Latin America. We have Choro clubs in all the United States. We have Choro clubs in Germany, in Italy, in France, in England, in Tokyo, in Japan as a general, in New Zealand, in Australia. We have Choro clubs around the world. That's point number one. Point number two. This is I want to tell you two short stories that happened with me. That's something that happened with me. The first story is just like this. It was 2005, I believe, and it was the end of a tour I was making with Un Trio Vira-Lata, a group of mine, and we were in the end of our tour, and we were in Paris, and I remember that we were just exhausted, after 1 month touring. It's really fatiguing, So we were in the subway in Paris, and we just sat on like this, waiting for our stop, when suddenly entered into our car this guy with handle electric guitar and an amplifier, and he started to play Tico Tico no Fubá. It was amazing. He not played as we Brazilian guys do. We played with a jazz feeling like this. That's the balance that was recorded by Charlie Parker, for example, Django Reinhardt. So they put a jazz feeling on it. Yes? So And it was amazing, to see that guy in the subway in Paris playing Chico Chico Fubá. I was just really touched with that. So we wait until the music stops, and we came to talk with him to find out who he was and how did he discover Chico Chico Fubá. But unfortunately, we couldn't communicate with him because he didn't speak English, French, Portuguese, or Spanish, and we didn't understood one word about in his own idiom, so it was impossible to communicate. It was a pity, but anyway, it was really touching to see Chico Chico no Fubá being played for someone who have no contact at all with Brazil. And the last story I want to tell you happened with me one more time. It was another tour in Europe. I believe that it was in 2008 in Grenada, in Spain, if I'm not mistaken. And after our concert, a guy came to me and he was angry. And he said that Chico Chico no Fubá was Russian popular music. And I said, what? You said, you are telling me that Chico Chico Fubá was composed by a Russian guy? Yeah, that is. Chico Chico Fubá is popular Russian music. And I said, no, you must be kidding, my friend. And I explained to him that no, he was mistaken. Chico Fubá was composed by a Brazilian composer called Zequim de Abreu, 1917, in a place not far from my own ville. So I started to argue with him, and it was worthless. He went out of our discussion of our concert, and he was just angry with me because he swore for God that Chico Fubá is Russian. I love that story too because it reveals to me how deep Chico Chico no Fubá um, has penetrated, in the international culture to the point that one guy believes that Chico Chico Fubá belongs to him, to his own culture. That's amazing. That's amazing. So that's why I'm so happy, I'm so glad to see, to understand that Choro music is part of the mankind culture. This is something that really touches me and make me feel that, make me understand that it's pointless just to be fighting for to extra nationalism. It doesn't make any sense at all. The mankind culture belongs to mankind. That's the meaning of all of it. I think that is so beautiful. That's it. Chico Chico no Fubá. What a great composition. Well, that's what I had to say about Chico Chico Fubá. And now I want to play for you one more choro, okay? And a very important thing, I'm always using the video playbacks provided by Fernando César, Hamilton de Holanda's brother. He have a very beautiful channel on YouTube called Fernando César Sete Cordas, and in this channel he uploads every week new choro themes with his own accompaniment. It's very beautiful, very practical, and I enjoy that a lot. I use that a lot, not only for me to play a little bit with a great master, but also with my students. I pass this live playbacks for them, and it's really good practice. Okay, so now I'm going to play for you the choro that is the most famous choro team in Brazil. Okay, let's do it. Ah, that's so beautiful, isn't it? I just love that song. I just love that song. I know that there are many guys from Brazil who are watching us just right now. But for those who are not Brazilian, did you know that song before? Have you ever heard that sound before today? No. Okay. Harmonica College. How to play fast. Which scale works when improvising on A and B part? Harmonica College. First of all, I will answer to your question, but first of all, I want to know: did you know that song before? Or no? Have you ever heard it before? You tell me. Sorry for that. And is there any comment there? No. So I will answer to the harmonica college how to play fast. You got to practice every day, little by little. Thank you, Thiago. Good morning, Pedro. Okay, okay, you know already. Okay, you knew it. Okay. So this song is called Brasileirinho. It was composed by Valdir Azevedo in 1947. And I will talk a little bit about it in a while. And so, how to play fast, harmonica college. Uh, there's no magic, you got to practice every day. I like to practice some releasing studies, such like this. Good morning, Pedro. Such like this. This kind of stuff is really good to release your breathing, and little by little you can evolve this. You can develop this exercise to other tonalities. For example, in B major, which is a really challenging tune, isn't it? Yeah? Like things like this, exercises such like this. I I play, but it's fast on cavaquinho. Oh yes, that's correct. It happens because in cavaquinho it's the instrument where it was composed. Brasileiro, it's a music that was composed to the cavaquinho. And I will tell you this story about this history of Brasileirinho. Wait a second. And which scales to use to improvise in the part A and in the part B? Well, it changes. It's not only one scale. You know that the scale must accompany the chord variation. So if the chord changes, you must change your scale as well. So the beginning of Brasileirinho, for example, Uh, so each one of these chords actually has its own scale. You see, so you got here. I'm using the G major scale. Here I'm using F major. It's a C mixolydian actually, but it corresponds to the F major. So you got to study a little bit further to understand how to improvise in a Choro team. Okay. Thank you, Thiago. Thank you, Thiago. Okay, okay, harmonica. Cool, cool. Thank you. So, Brasileirinho. Brasileirinho have a very beautiful and interesting history. Brasileirinho was composed in the beginning of Valdir Azevedo's career, as I was saying, in 1947. And back then, uh, he was making some success there already, and he got Valdir Azevedo got a nephew back then that was just a child. He was too little child, and he was fascinated with his uncle, and he wanted to play choro, but it was too hard for him. It was lots of notes, too fast, and so he asked for his uncle for choro he could play with his tiny hands. So beautiful, isn't it? So Valdir accept that challenge, and he tried to compose a music that could sound as a choro, but that it wasn't so hard to play, at least in the cavaquinho. So he made it. So the first part, yeah, my God, you see? Can you see that? This is the first movement. Here I'm playing in Mi major because of the acoustic guitar. His chord is tuned in the key is in the key of E, so it sounds like a E major. But in a cavaquinho, this string is a G, so it sounds in G major, the original melody of Brasileirinho. So this movement, it is considered an easy movement to play on cavaquinho or here in the acoustic guitar. So that's why all the first part of Brasileirinho is made using just one string. You see, so technically speaking, it's easier than other choros. Another choros from Valdir Azevedo himself. So it's pretty interesting to see how this team was conceived. It was conceived to be easy to be played. Amazing, isn't it? And this is a first topic. And his this nephew of Valdir Azevedo had a nickname. He had a nickname. He was too little, so he was called Brasileirinho. His nickname was Brasileirinho, which means little Brazilian or tiny Brazilian, small Brazilian. So that's why Brasileirinho, it is called Brasileirinho, and that's why it is supposed to be easy to play. Now, I'm not sure about that. Huh? So, but it's very beautiful to see how emotive this song could be, also, isn't it? If you know a little bit more about the history of it, you can feel more attached to it, isn't it? That's so beautiful. Well, guys, that's the end of our live of today. I want to know if there is any doubt, if there is any comment that you want to do. Okay. Thank you, Thiago. Thiago is telling me that Vitor, expressing myself with this instrument is inspired. Thank you so much, Thiago. Thank you so much. That's the main objective of all of this is to inspire people to know a little bit more about choro and to play the harmonica. Okay? So if there is any comment you can put right now. Otherwise, I will end this live broadcasting reminding you that we'll we'll we will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock a.m. Brazilian time, we will have our third live of the Choro Harmonica Week, where we will discuss the Choro Swing. The Choro Swing. Ok, Harmonica College. Bora soprar esse instrumento lindo? Yeah, Thiago. Yes. Bora, bora. Harmonica College, what is your question? And remind you as well, the exercise was cool. Is there is a possible way of doing this exercise on wider intervals? Of course, you can. I recommend you to start little by little. One thing that I really do for myself, and that's my purpose here for you is to make this using the first three notes of all the majors and minor keys. It's a wonderful exercise. Okay, so in C major, in F, in B flat, in E flat, B flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and so go on. Okay, so these are very good exercise if you put in other keys. Okay, harmonica college, good studies, and come to our Telegram group. Okay, to know further because we're going to take profits of it. Okay, and um, what else? What else? I have to say. Oh, Telegram. If you want to go further in the study of how to play choro with your harmonica, join us in our Telegram group. Okay, we got a routine of studies. We exchange a lot of information, not only for me. The students there. There are some guys that are playing amazingly, just professional performers. Chromatica performers. So. There are lots of moments that my own students know more about harmonica, about chord than me, than myself, because the level is really high. So I'm sure that you will take profit of this group, okay? And more than this, in this group, I will provide an extra material for every live I do here, okay? So for example, for today, for the live of today, I will provide the material with a resume about we discussed today and some links so that you can see by yourself Carmen Miranda as the Walt Disney movie with Chico Chico no Fubá. You can see the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra playing Chico Chico no Fubá, and there are many other things, okay? And all the lives will be put a link to it in our group as well. All the invitations for the new lives, for the new programs, will be offered at first in the Telegram group. Okay, so you are all welcome there. It's completely free of any charge at all, and it will always be like this. Okay, so that's it. Ending the broadcasting just right now. Okay, And uh, I want to see you, all of you, tomorrow back here, 8 o'clock a.m. Brasilia time, so that we can discuss the rhythm in Choro. Opa, we got one more. How did you develop all the tongue blocking techniques you have mastered? I will go to Telegram. Thanks. Yes, come there. I have a lots of interesting things about tongue blocking. I will talk about these techniques in our last live on Friday. Okay, the 23. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for watching me. Thank you so much. I'm so glad for for your audience, and I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have learned a lot, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? So bye bye. Thank you. Bye. Ciao.